One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second workshop of today. We have Lena, member advocate from Replit today, showing us how to use the amazing Replit AI features that was launched this year, I think, or last year. Not quite sure, but it's quite exciting. And thank you so much for joining us, Lena.
Thanks so much. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, time flies. I don't know if I can give an accurate answer of when we launched that off the top of my head. Feels like years.
Yeah, it feels like it's been here forever, and I feel like 2-3 years down the line, it doesn't matter when it was launched, but it matters the amazing projects that came out of it. And to be honest, I did try to learn Python myself initially. I do know the abstractions a little bit, but using like having an AI to help you code at the same time and fix your errors, I feel like it's such a big bonus for both me as a non-technical person and other technical people.
Yeah, I agree. It's so helpful. And our AI actually helps you debug errors too. So um, what do we think? Should I just jump in?
Yes. So we're gonna give people a little bit of time to join in. Bahar will share a little bit about the hackathon, the reason we got you here, and then we'll jump right into it. And you can use the plus button at the bottom to share your screen, and then we'll add it to the stage. Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome. I was just trying to add to present. Thank you so much, Lena, for being here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know this is a second workshop that we have. I really appreciate that you're spending the time on a Thursday morning with us, but I promise it's going to be very useful. So a little bit about what we are doing. Me and Priya, we are co-founders of BeLoud. BeLoud is a non-for-profit organization. We help startups go from zero funding to next taking customers or raising fund. And in the accelerator, we help startups to grow. In the studio, we help startups to be built up. We have a community of builders, creators, founders, and investors. And we host programs, workshops such as this for all of our community members. So we are on a mission to onboard the next generation of creators, builders, innovators into the imagination age. But what is imagination age? Well, you remember the time of like email and texting was kind of a thing. The time of Facebook was really popular. Well, that was information age, and that's in the past. Now we are in the imagination age, the age of AI, AR, VR, XR, Web3, ChatGPT, OpenAI, where you have abundance of resources and knowledge that you can realize any ideas you have in your mind. So you can't make any excuses about anything you want to build, because right now everything is possible, even if you don't have a programming or coding background. And then we thought, now that it can go from prompt to anything in matters of seconds, why not test this and see if we can make $1 billion startups in 3 days or not? So we invited 300 people to accept this challenge and see if they can build $1 billion startup. So we started working on Build AI for a little bit more than 2 months ago, and we are now here, and the event's going to start tomorrow. So there's still very tiny little bit of time left to join in. If you would like to join in, you have like maybe 4 more hours to sign up, but we would love to have you there. And please follow our social medias. We are literally everywhere, BeLoud XYZ. And the stage is yours, Lena.
All right. Thank you so much. Cool. I'm going to throw can I share? Can you throw the screen share up on this?
Yes, definitely.
Actually, let's remove it again. Yeah. Overcommitted. All right. Well, first of all, I want to just introduce myself. My name is Lena Vu Sawyer. I am a member advocate at Replit. And if you are not familiar with Replit, we're a browser-based collaborative environment where you can build software from end to end. So you can prototype, build it, collaborate on it, and then deploy it and share it with the world. We have built-in AI tools and built-in collaborative tools that make it really easy to build quickly, especially for things like this, like a hackathon, if you're trying to launch really fast. And it works with just about any language or library or API that you can think of. I'll be demoing a few options, some select options, but I hope that you'll explore really the vastness of this platform and let us know if there's anything that you can't find there. I'd love to help, and we'd love to help fix that for you. So I'm going to jump in and just give you today, I'll give you an overview of Replit, just our general features, and then I'll focus on some kind of custom things that you can build, especially with a focus on AI. And then I'll open it up for a Q&A. And my goal by the end of this is that you will be able to get started, build, run, and deploy a project on Replit. And I'm pretty confident we'll be able to do that today. So the next thing I want you to know before we get started is that if you want to join, maybe click around while I'm clicking around on Replit, make sure that you create an account. I sent out a couple links in the Luma event earlier. You can see them in the posts on there. One is to create a Replit account. The next link is to sign up to get a free trial of Replit Core. Everything I'm showing you today, just about everything you'll be able to do with our starter account, but Replit Core gives you benefits like private REPLs, you get deployment credits, you get access to our, I don't know what the right word is, you get access to our more powerful AI models. And so highly recommend you sign up for that free trial. We'll be provisioning those after this workshop and then again tomorrow so that you'll have access to Replit Core before the hackathon. So see the Luma for those links. Bahar, if there's anywhere else to post those, please do. And then the last thing to know is that I've also linked to a deck, which is really there for you as a resource to help you as you build. But if you have questions, you can see our docs. And yeah, so.
Yeah, sorry. So do you mind sending the links here as well in the chat so we can also put it on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter? So it'll also go from here directly to them as well.
Yeah, sure. My dear colleague Hassam is backstage. I'm going to ask him to throw those in there. Or actually, I have them, so.
For sure.
They're very long. My apologies.
Yeah, it's okay. Something you mentioned, and I'm curious, what does a member advocate do at Replit? What does it mean?
Yeah, so my job is to make sure that the people who are building on Replit are successful. And that can look like a lot of things. It can look like making sure that their onboarding is helpful and effective. So I actually talk to a lot of people whose teams maybe are adopting Replit, and I train them on how to use it. I work with our DevRel, our two DevRels to build out custom templates or demos for them so that they can see what's possible for their specific use cases. And then I also help to promote their stories. So a lot of what makes me excited about working at Replit, and it's been 3 years, so I'm still enthusiastic about it. One of the things that I love most is seeing what we enable to be possible. So whether you are technical or non-technical, or maybe somewhere in the middle, Replit really makes it possible to build software in a way that just hasn't been possible before on a local environment or with existing disparate tools. Because it's so collaborative, because it's so simple to use. And I like to say that not only have we lowered the bar, so we've made it really easy to get started, we've also raised the ceiling, which means that you can do more and more and more every day with Replit. So if you're a founder and you are just prototyping some idea that you have that you kind of maybe want to get some initial interest in as like a proof of concept, You can do that on Replit. And then once you learn that there's a lot of interest in it, that it's something people want to use, you can continue building it out and launching that as a startup on Replit. And I've talked to many creators who have done this. And so another part of my job is capturing those stories and sharing them with the world. So if that ends up being you all after this weekend, please reach out. I'd love to hear your story. I know Bahar was talking about some of the hopes and dreams of the hackers this week, and I hope all of those things come true for you and that we can help you to achieve them.
Absolutely. We thought our goal was ambitious. So, one idea to prototype to user, which we've seen be done before in hackathons. And then Asim, the previous workshop, Nexus GPT, he was saying, I want people to compete based on who gets the most paying users. And I spoke to another creator. He has 400,000 followers on Instagram. He's joining us. And he was saying, I want to get acquired during those 3 days, which it seems like when you give people that mindset that this is possible, they dream bigger as well.
Yeah, there's so much possible. I think between AI, between like what you can accomplish just from your browser, there is a lot. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, don't want to keep you too much. Please dive into the presentation/demo, and we're super excited for it.
Awesome. Yeah, and to build on Priya's questions, if anyone has questions for me about Replit or my work here, you're very welcome to follow me on Twitter, just Lena @Replit, and I can talk to you there. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again, if I can get help. Thank you. Okay, awesome. So here we are. This is my Replit homepage. And on Replit, like I mentioned, this is browser-based. So I'm in my beautiful Arc browser. And from here, I can actually create a project in any language that I can think of. And I have a feeling a lot of you are probably going to be building in Python, maybe building a front end for your site with HTML and CSS. I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to build a website to start, and then we can have some more colorful outputs at the beginning. And when I go to create a REPL, zoom in, I can search templates, and templates are just pre-configured workspaces, or we call them REPLs, where you have the language set up, you might have APIs set up, you might have some other things set up already in that REPL. And like I mentioned, a lot of languages in here. These are my favorites, as you can tell, but I want to use a template that I know about that my colleague Ornella made. This is just a basic company website that we can customize. Like I said, with Replit Core, you get private REPLs. Very nice. And I'll hit Create REPL. All right, so now this drops me in the workspace, and you'll notice a few things that might be familiar to other IDEs you've used. We've got our file tree over here. We've got an extensive toolbar. I'll show you a few of these, but there's a lot to explore in this workspace. So if you're ever curious if something exists, you can always search for it in here. Debugger, there's our code search tool. And then we've got our text editor and some output panels. Now, if this configuration of Windows is not what you like, drag and drop. You can rearrange as much as you like to your heart's content. Okay. Other things you need to know about. We've got the run button up here. Once you've added your changes and you want to see what it looks like, hit that run button. You'll get a nice confetti surprise, and then you'll be able to see the output of your code immediately. This is a really magical moment. The first time you get something to run, no errors, and you can see what you've created. Love it. Chef's kiss. The next thing to know about is this invite button. This is what I use if I might need, say, Hassam or Ornella to jump in and help me out with this project. I'll share this join link with them, and then they can edit this with me live, almost like if you've ever been in Figma or a Google Doc, I'd be able to see them moving through the files, making edits, all of that. And if I need to scrub through and kind of see what the changes were, like let's say we deleted this part. Oh, wait, I need to exit out here first. So let's say I accidentally delete all of this nav bar. I can go into this history tool at the bottom right of my text editor, and I can scroll back to where that nav bar existed again. And I can restore it. So there's that, there it is with. I am going to go ahead and restore. All right. And what's great about history is it's non-destructive, so you can scrub back and forth. You can return to earlier versions as much as you like. There's no need to be too precious with your code, so I encourage you to experiment, try new things. Here's our output. Then other things you might want to know about are our Git. So you can connect to a Git repo, and if that history function isn't quite enough of a version control for you, you can initialize a Git repo and you can manage all the branches, pull, push, everything right from here. The other thing I want to show you, of course, is the AI. So our AI has a few different functions and ways to interact with it, some of which you might be familiar with already. If you've used ChatGPT, you probably know about the chat interface. So I could ask this AI, let's say, how do I create a hyperlink in HTML? Simple, but I'll show you how it works. Okay. Very nice. And so what this does is it pulls an answer for me. It'll even give me a code snippet. So I could copy or even insert this code wherever I want to create a new hyperlink in my HTML file. This chat is really good for brainstorming, for asking for instructions, and you can even give it file-based context. So let's say I already have a bunch of code and I need to ensure that the answers that it's pulling are informed by that code. I don't want some random thing. And I also really don't want to copy and paste all my code into another window. With this Replit AI, I can actually select which files I'd like it to get context from. Okay, so we've got those 3 files, and then I can ask it about those files. Really useful. The other way that you can interact with our AI is actually directly from your text editor with inline actions. So if I were to, let's do this. Actually, this was a common question when I was teaching web development, is what is the head section for? Because I can't see it on my web page. So what is it really doing? If I select this code, I can either modify it or have it be explained to me. Explain code is so helpful because if you're working off of a template or someone else's code, you can ask this AI to explain it to you, and that'll catch you up immediately. So in this case, it's telling me what all of these metadata does. Okay, nice. Oh, I'm learning about character encoding. Ooh, I can learn about viewport properties. Okay, cool. I'm done with that. So I've had it explained to me. The other thing that you can do is you can really speed up your editing workflow using this Inline AI modification tool. So again, I'm going with simple right now just for speed, and so you can kind of see it happening. But let's say I want to change the color scheme of this. I just bought some like artisan candies today. So I'm going to pretend I'm making a site for this artisan candy company, in which case this color scheme is not right. It is not quite right. So I'm going to select all of these, what do we call it? Words are escaping me today. I'm going to select all of the CSS and I'm going to try to modify it. And I'm going to tell it to create a new color scheme. I'm going to say, change this to be a rainbow color scheme. Great. Let's see what it gives me. It could be hideous, but that's okay. We're going to experiment. All right. So now I've given it this modify prompt, and it's now providing me with a diff. That's great because I want to know exactly what it's proposing that I change. And it's getting rid of these very like professional kind of darker colors, and it's setting me up with red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Okay, that sounds like a rainbow. I'm going to accept those changes and let's see what happens. Okay, incredibly hard to look at website, but There it is. You know, that's what I asked for.
I feel like this website would get like a -5 on those accessibility scores.
Incredibly inaccessible. Yeah, I could point to multiple parts. Actually, I wonder, maybe I can modify this. Okay. Make these colors more accessible. Let's see what it gives us. Again, it's all about experimenting and trying things. Let's try. Can I run it again? You know, we're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but I'm not going to keep you here all day. All right. So that's our chat feature. Like I said, or our AI feature. Like I said, there's chat. You've got inline modify and inline explain. And this can also help you as you hit errors. So whenever you hit an error, the AI is going to jump in to help you with that. Okay. The last thing that I really like this for is documentation. So again, if you're about to hand off a project to someone else, or maybe you want to create a README for how someone can use your project, I could do that all from here. So I'm going to say we've got our index, our JavaScript, our CSS. That's good enough for me. I'm going to say generate a README markdown, or generate markdown to explain this project. Okay, awesome. So this is giving an overview of how to use it.
Sorry, quick question. Ormond, he also had another question. Can Replit be used to create a React native app? I think Hassam said, yes, you do support that. Okay.
Yep.
Second question, is there an approval feature when restoring versions from person version? Is there an owner role who has to approve to revert the change? Is it possible to revert a part of the document or code? It's a mouthful.
Is there, oh, are you thinking about like PRs like on Git?
I think that's what he's referring to. If you're not, let us know.
Okay. If that's what you're looking for, actually, let me break this into two pieces. So there's I call it like version control extra light, which is history, and just our general like collaboration. And for that, there's no approval feature. So people are going to be editing in real time. You're just going to be typing away. You'll see all these changes. And in fact, why don't I'm going to invite Hassam in here so he can show you what this looks like collaboration-wise. I'll wait for him to pop up. While he does that.
Sorry, you did mention Figma. Could people see their profile pictures and cursors in real time like Figma? Or we're not there yet? Oh, they can. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Wow. And so once, Hassam, I sent you the link in the private chat, but you'll see him pop up when he's in here. Ah, there he is. Okay, so I can actually observe him and see any changes that he makes. Like I said, if something happens, I'm like, Hassam, you broke it. I can always use that history feature and scrub back to the stable version. But really, he's going to be helping me here. I think he's going to make the site even better. Then about your question for, is there a way to have an owner role who can revert the change? Again, there's history to revert, but there's also our Git integration. And so with this, I can initialize a Git repo, and then you can do your usual branching and PR all from right here. If you're like me and you're a real like visual learner, we have kind of a GUI for this kind of version control with Git, but you can also use the usual Git commands as well if that's what you're used to. All right, someone asked, so for Ormandi KE, if you just want one person responsible for the code, what I recommend is do not invite anyone to this. Integrate it with Git, maybe share it with people that way. Or what you can do is create a cover page for your project. And what this does is it allows other people to fork and run your project. And that means that they'll have their own version of it that they can edit themselves, they can change, and then you don't have to worry about them messing with the original version or breaking your project. Okay. Then let's see. Char asks, can we design from Figma and integrate it to Replit? Yes, we actually have an awesome plugin for that. And I'll share the link to the, actually, here, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to relay that link to you. But with this plugin, you can actually export your designs from Figma, and then they'll be converted into code that you can then edit and host on Replit. I really encourage you to try it. It's awesome. Works really, really well. And I find that the code is quite elegant compared to other tools that are similar.
So, sorry, quick question. You can make a design in Figma, and it'll take that HTML, well, it'll take that design and give you the HTML, CSS, correct?
And JS. It'll give you...
And JS. Okay, cool. Yeah, because they added the new dev feature as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so here's an example of it at work. I'm going to generate the code, and it'll generate all of that. So see how you've got like, oh, TypeScript, CSS, all of that. And then you can export it to Replit and edit it from there.
Perfect. And okay, I just had a question on my mind and it slipped. Okay, can anyone make a plugin too as well? Is there like a documentation for that on Replit?
Yeah, so this one is a Figma plugin, but you can create Replit extensions. Show you that. All right. So there's a bunch of different extensions that are already created, but you can also build your own based on whatever it is that you need. So if there's something where you're like, it's missing my favorite feature from this other IDE or this other software tool, I really want it, you can build that yourself. And then you can even put it in the extension store for others to build with.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you can use a REPL to make a Replit extension. Okay.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, check these out. If you could put I'll drop this link into the chat as well. Oh, Hassan beat me to it. Awesome. Thanks, Hassan. All right. So I know you all probably have more questions about AI maybe, or I don't know. I think I'll let the chat sit for now, and I'll jump into some other features that might interest you for your projects this week. Okay. So the next one I want to show you is our secrets tool. That website is so ugly. Okay, let's use this one. All right. So again, shout out.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I didn't want that to be in my eyesight at all.
It burns. Yeah, everyone's tuning in with their sunglasses on. Thank God I'm not working in light mode. Then that would really hurt people's eyes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this is another project built by my colleague Ornella. Again, we work as a team. Everything is done together. So I want to give credit where it's due. And this project actually uses a variety of models and tools. So this is a chatbot, and it uses OpenAI, Pinecone, and LangChain. Now, sometimes one thing that you might be wondering is like, okay, say I share my REPL, I have my API keys in it, and then my API keys get abused, and then suddenly I'm broke. What happens? So we have a tool for that to encourage you to use APIs as much as possible without having to be afraid of that abuse. And that tool is Secrets. So what Secrets allows me to do is create essentially a variable and plug in my API key for that variable. And so now everywhere in my code, let's see if I can find where I've implemented these variables. I'll just use code search. Pinecone _ API key. Okay, cool. So I can see where we've implemented these. And so what you'll notice is that we're only adding in the variable here. We're not adding in the key itself. And if I were to share this, so if I were to share this as a cover page, and someone were to fork it and run it, they would only see those variable names. They wouldn't be able to access my API keys. What they might see is like a pop-up that says there's secrets that you need to run this, add those in, and they'd be able to plug their API keys in themselves and get it to run. And so I highly recommend using secrets as you build this week, especially if you're using external APIs and, any API that's going to cost you money, you're going to want to use secrets. All right, the next thing is we also have a tool called Model Farm.
Sorry to interrupt. Somebody asked, Kavita, is this the same as a .env file?
Is what the same?
I think the secrets that you mentioned, which I'm assuming it is kind of.
Oh, yeah, I think it is kind of. The thing that's different is that like when you fork a REPL, you have access to all those files and the contents of them. Like any of these files in the file tree, I would be able to see them if I were to fork this. And so with secrets, that puts them into a different place that's safe and that isn't going to get duplicated to other people's versions of this REPL. Okay. I see someone asked, how would an application look? Here's one, actually. Why don't we open this in a new window? So this is another application that uses a tool of ours called Model Farm. And Model Farm actually gives you access to a lot of models without requiring any API keys at all. So let's see. I'm going to ask this little chat bot, what is the meaning of life? Let's see. Does anyone here know?
No one knows. Not even God.
Oh, it's provided us many possibilities though. Five things to consider as the answer. I love that.
So they know more than God. I think that's pretty cool. So this was just a single shot question, right? You did no prompting, or was there some prompting behind the scenes?
I just asked the question,
yeah, okay.
But let me open up the hood and show you what this looks like. So with Model Farm, I'm working off of a template which has pre-configured it for me. But again, I'll use code search to kind of find where these Model Farm, how it's actually implemented. So you can see my JSON. Okay, in the TypeScript, we're importing it. All right, pretty easy. And then if we look in this TypeScript file as well, you'll see you're able to provide context, tokens. You can indicate which model you want to use, like which model specifically, if you have a favorite one. You can set the temperature, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so there is a little bit going on in the back end to get this set up and kind of like calibrated accordingly, but that's about it. I'm gonna look at the chat again. How would we manage?
Yeah, Raj is asking, how would we manage secrets in, say, a key vault when we store the application?
How would you manage secrets in a key vault? I don't know exactly. Oh, when you deploy it. Oh, okay. So when you deploy a project, any of your secrets are, again, they are still secret. So if I were to deploy this one, thanks, Raj, for clarifying. I appreciate that. So if I were to deploy this one, again, the only thing anyone would see is these variables if they were to look under the hood. Otherwise, and it would run perfectly as an app, but those keys are not getting out. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, keep pinging us. We can send some more resources. And actually, Hassam, do you mind dropping the secrets doc link in there as well so that you can see how secrets are shared when you share a join link versus cover page versus deployment? Okay. So I covered all of our AI features from the chat to inline actions to actually building with AI using API keys and using Model Farm. Again, I'm touching on these very lightly so you know they exist, but I hope that you'll take these and run with them. The next thing I want to talk to you about is deployments. So Raj actually opened up this segue for me. Appreciate that. And I'm going to do this on my simpler project, just my basic site here, Scream. Okay. And deployments are a way of hosting your projects for the world and just sharing the front end. We're pretty familiar with this. And deployments make it really simple to configure without having to use too many different commands. Now, we have 4 different types of deployments. We have reserved, auto-scale, static, and scheduled. So with a reserved VM, this is going to be always on. It's going to have high runtime. And so this is really good for something that needs to be constantly running. I think a good example of this might be like if I ran a train service like Amtrak and I needed to be tracking where all the trains were at all times, Reserve VM is good for that kind of a thing. Auto scale is great for, I think for the projects you all are doing actually, because it will allow you to meet demand exactly as what we say. So it'll allow you to scale all the way to 0 if there's no engagement with it, right? You can save money if no one's accessing your project, no one's using it. That's not going to happen. It's going to get really popular. And so it'll automatically scale up to accommodate your viral app as well. Then we also have static deployments. This is going to be good for just a simple front-end website like this company profile that I've created. And then the last one is a scheduled deployment. And with this one, you can set up a time that you want your app to run. So all different types. If you are not sure which one to use, go visit our docs or ask one of us. I think you all talked about maybe there being like a Discord or something. I might be able to tune in on Saturday.
Yeah, we do have a Discord, and it's beloud.xyz/Discord, and we can send it as well. Something the other partners are doing is doing office hours. So it's up to you. To be honest, like you can lurk in the Discord or let us know. Like you have like 30 minutes from like
Okay.
30-minute time blocks, and people if have any questions about Replit, they could come to you.
Sure. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. Awesome. So for this, I'll just do a schedule or a static deployment. And this is really easy. I can decide type of deployment. It's going to give me my domain, which is automatically going to have a .replit.app URL. You can change this title. There's going to be a way later on that I'll show you if you'd actually like to create a custom domain. Decide what your public directory is, your build command, any deployment secrets, and then you can deploy.
Quick question. Raj is asking again, is the deployment done on a cloud server like AWS Azure? And where does the code run?
Yeah, so it's run on Google Cloud. Yep. Okay. Oh yeah, Hassam added a bit more information. It's backed by Google Cloud. Yeah, nice. Okay, so here's my deployment. Now I can edit the settings and I can link a custom domain if I'd like. I can shut down my deployment. I can change the deployment type. And what's awesome is I can actually also see the analytics. So I can see how many people are coming and visiting my site. All right. Now you might be wondering, like, I'm not ready to deploy yet. How can I share my app? We do have development URLs. And this is only going to be active for the time where you're in the REPL editing it live. But this is a good thing, like if you want to share it quickly with a collaborator for them to review, or you just want quick feedback. But again, that dev URL is gonna sleep after you've left the workspace. So don't rely on it too much. You're going to want to deploy to have something with a little better uptime. Okay, someone asked, about a limit to the number of deployments. Oh yeah, no limit. You do have to think about we have usage-based billing for different types of deployments. So if I look at, so I'm going to shut this down. Okay. So you can see how much each one is going to be costing for you. And Replit Core has built-in credits for you. And so once you hit the cap of those credits, then you'll start being charged for compute unit, etc. Kavitha asks, how many repos can we use with the free version of Replit? I think you're talking about REPLs, which is like this project or workspace that we're talking about. You can create as many as you like. Just keep in mind that they are going to be public. So what I mean by public is that I can go into Hassam's, or I'll go to my profile. You can go to my profile and you can see my public REPLs. So you can see all of my projects that I've worked on. Whereas if you want to keep this code private, you're going to want to use Replit Core. The other thing is that with the free version, you don't get those deployment credits built in. All right. Okay. Now, that's about it that I wanted to cover in terms of just like getting started all the way up to deploying and launching. There's a couple other features that I'll just point out. In here, we have a built-in database. If you want to get really in-depth with database and querying, we also have built-in Postgres. And then we also have object storage. Okay. If some of you after this are still not totally sold on Replit, but there's some of our features you want to use or you want to collaborate with someone using Replit, I get it. Change is hard. We also have the ability to SSH into Replit. The last thing is that we have a mobile app and a desktop app. And so with the mobile app, you can view the status of your deployments, make sure everything's running smoothly. If someone like pings you while you're at the grocery store and says like something's not working or you need to make an edit, you can do all of that right from your tablet or your phone. And then the desktop app is great because it just gives you a few more options. One, for key bindings, and two, I definitely see people using it just for being hyper focused. You know, I have all of this stuff open over here, but if you just want to focus on the code, use the desktop app. All right.
Sorry, quick question, and this was also my question as well. What DBs can you work with Replit, or is there like a built-in database?
This one's built in. So I'll drop, oh yeah, by the way, you can search docs directly from the workspace, or you can ask the AI to answer things for you. Again, it's all about staying in the zone. So this is our own database. I believe you can import that. I will send out, let me get some more details because I don't want to provide any misinformation, but we'll follow up after this with some more details about that. And I know Hassam has additional answers in the chat. So let's see, native database support as well as Postgres provided by Neon. Yep, that sounds about right.
Sounds good. And this supports vector info as well, right? If people want to make AI applications.
I believe so, yeah. And actually, I want to give a little shout out if you're interested in vector. I know Weaviate, they just are top of mind for me. They have a few templates on here if you are hoping to get a quick start there. Here you go. So you can take a look in here, and then their official templates will be in community. Right. They're just one that comes to mind. I'm sure there are others that I'm not remembering right now.
Perfect. And Raj has a follow-up, document type databases.
I'm not sure. Hassam, can you just take note of that and we'll look into it and try to get answers after this? Okay. Awesome. Wow, really appreciate all the information coming going into the chat while I just gab.
Yeah, I feel like behind the scenes, Hassam is doing like a gazillion things. And also shout out to the Replit. Is that Hassam commenting from the Replit YouTube channel, or is it somebody else? We'd love to thank them too as well.
I think that's Hassam. Yeah, major shout out to Hassam who's like doing all the typing and searching while I share my screen. Yeah, any other questions from the crowd?
Yeah, Raj is saying it was great. It's been great. I think, yeah, we set this up literally 18, 20, 24 hours ago, or maybe a little bit earlier. So thank you so much for the quick turnaround.
Yeah.
I didn't know Replit had these many cool AI features. I only watched the demo that Amjad had on the developer day, but I didn't get a chance to like use it myself. So this was quite nice.
Yeah, take a look. There's a lot of I love it because like you can customize a template really quickly. So like actually one thing you might want to try this week if you're hacking with others is this. I'll send a link to this chatbot. But what this does is you can add in files to here. So I can add training data into this REPL. I've got our doc on Replit AI, and I've got our doc on the web view. And that's what we're training the AI on. So then what I can do is I can ask it about Replit AI. If I deployed this and sent it to you, you could ask it all your questions about Replit AI. So I might ask, what are the main features of Replit AI? And it's going to do a little think, probably for a minute, and then it'll come back with an answer informed by these files that I've trained it by. And I believe this template's also set up to use OpenAI as like the backup, the fallback option.
Gotcha. So this was my next question as well. You showed us how to, because turn ideas into software, that is your tagline. You showed us how to make a website using it and change the colors and the chatbot. You can train it. Can you expose this in like an API or embed it on your website? Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a few ways you can do that. Like I mentioned, there's always the cover page. There's you can deploy this. Like this would be my app here. I could deploy this and just share this with anyone. A few options, or you can have people join it and customize it.
Gotcha. So websites, chatbots, what are other things on top of your mind that you can create using Replit/Replit AI that in 3 days you can use AI to go from one idea to a software?
Oh my gosh. Like I mentioned at the beginning, my job is to tell the stories of our users. And so I'll actually point you to the homepage where you'll see some of what our users have built recently. I know folks who they host the backend for their AI agents on Replit. This is like a AI tool that provides it will dub video and then also translate and then dub. This one is hilarious. Lizzie Siegel, or I forget her Twitter username. She made this and it's so funny. It generates a cute little Valentine's Day poem for your boo based on the inputs that you provide it with. And so you can say like what their vibe is, what LLM you'd like to use, what kind of lyrics you want it to include, and it'll generate it for you. So these are all really fun places to get started. It can be as charming or as serious as you like. This is hilarious. She killed it with this one.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I should use it for the next Valentine's next year. And all these are public that people can see the code behind it, correct? Okay.
Yep. Fork it, customize it. Another place to look for things that people have built and get inspired, especially by founders, but there's also like designers in our community. There's people who are using it to just like develop their skills. I know one user who he's an automation expert. His name's Andrew. He's an automation expert who has been using tools like Zapier, and Airtable and stuff like that to automate things for his clients. But he kind of hit a wall with those tools, and he wanted a little bit more control and to customize them. And so he built out further customization for those automations on Replit. And I think that he had not coded like since he was in school. And so he completely retaught himself Python on Replit with the AI, with some of our learning resources. And now he's like added this new skill to his toolbox to create even richer automations. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the same thing. I said I don't know how to code, but I feel like this could really help people and push it, because you have somebody who's an expert who has the whole world's knowledge technically in their brain that can help you code live and fix your bugs, as you said.
I just pulled up this screen. This is our blog where we share our builder stories. And I'm going to share a link to that. These people, these are awesome. If you build something cool or something you're proud of, I hope that you will at me on Twitter and show it to me so I can see it, and maybe even put a spotlight on your work as well. So yeah, these, I love reading these. I'm not gonna get overly emotional right now.
Quick question, and we can talk about it later. If anyone ends up creating a super awesome project, they got enough users or won one of the tracks using Replit, could they get a spotlight feature with this cute looking graphics?
It depends on kind of where we're at. I have a few stories I'm working on right now, but definitely reach out. You never know. If nothing else, I'll share your story with the company and they'll be able to learn from what you're building. There's an option just for us to retweet your stuff. It totally depends on where it fits and what you're building. If you have a really strong template, we might be able to feature that on the homepage. But yeah, it never hurts to just share and ask. I'm ready to be impressed.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. New goal of the hackathon, try to impress Lena to get featured on Replit's Builder Spotlight. Yeah, thank you so much for joining, Lena. Is there any other amazing feature from Replit you want to showcase? Or, well, that, and the second follow-up is, if you were participating in this hackathon and using Replit, what did you want to build or see get built?
Okay. First thing, what other features do I want people to know about? There's one new feature that we recently launched called Replit Teams. And it's great for, I know someone asked a bit about like ownership, permission, stuff like that. That is really important, especially if you're building professionally. So with Replit Teams, you can actually create a team organization where you can work with other people and you can see all of the deployments, check if any of them failed, kind of like do a lay of the land and make sure everything's running. And what's cool is like, I didn't deploy this. This isn't my REPL, but it is my teammate's REPL. And so I could jump in here and help him out really quickly, help get people unblocked. The other thing is that you can edit members and give members different types of permissions to what REPLs they can and can't view, edit, etc. If you're working in a larger company, we have groups. So in our case, we've set up permissions based on the like department level, I guess. And then you can also have a look at usage across your entire team. So if you are on a budget, you can kind of check this out and make sure you're not having any outsized spending. And if you are, you can address it really quickly. So if you all are working on a larger team, either for this hackathon or maybe at your jobs, I definitely recommend Replit Teams. This also allows you to have a central deployment, like billing information. So if you're like, I want to use my company card, you can set up that one company card, invite multiple people to your team, and then they can all just use that one payment method instead of everyone having their own disparate deployment accounts.
That is such a good bonus, because you could rack up those credit card points as well without the hassle of multiple ones as well.
Yes, get that free vacation. Free. Yes, that's Replit Teams. The other thing is definitely check out the recording of our developer day on YouTube. It's just at our YouTube channel. We announced some exciting AI features that are coming up, like our code repair model that will actually help you to fix and repair code errors as you're coding, as opposed to like running, seeing the error, etc. And then you asked me if I were hacking, what would I build? So I have a lot of ideas, but I'm not always great at remembering them for more than like a couple hours. And so what I like to do is just text myself, because I'm really good at texting my friends. So I can be productive by texting myself, I think. And I also take a lot of notes on Obsidian. And so what I would probably build is like a custom, I don't even know if this is possible, but I would love it. A custom like SMS text to Obsidian note taker, where I can just text a number and it'll turn it into a note for me. And then maybe I could even use AI to automatically organize them into different topics or documents, whatever. Haven't thought all the way through that information architecture, but I think that'd be really nice.
Yeah, that's good enough for now. If it's okay, we can add that to like the idea list that people could end up building. And I'm assuming you can build that all using Replit, right? Is there an Obsidian integration there, or would it just be their API calls happening?
I think I haven't dived into this. I really don't know. My guess is that you'd have to find if either Obsidian has the API or if another like note taking app does, and then also the API or like the tool to use for the SMS thing. I know Twilio does, so actually I can show you. They also have some great templates on here. Where's Twilio? Well, let's look at templates actually. Here we go. All right. Send and receive SMS with Twilio. So I might take a look at this, see if this helps me out. That's just a start. Again, I really don't know. I only have a dream.
Yeah, that's how it starts. It's you just come up with the idea, and then the tools are abundant, as Bahar mentioned. You come up with the idea and you find the resources, you create it. Most important part is that there are a lot of tools and you can create a lot of these apps, but the goal is to get a user, get it in people's hands so people actually know about it. You can turn an idea into a software, but a software without a user, it's just a software. It's not a business product, something like they want to have as a legacy left behind.
Yeah, build something people like that they're going to use. And I think there's a lot of ways to do that, whether it's like joyful, useful, or anything else. Another one's coming to mind. I hope I'm getting this right. I think Intercom has some templates. Yeah. So this is one more profile I want to share. Intercom devs. They'll have some great templates to get you started as well. Yeah. Raj asked, most importantly, any chance of credits for the hackathon? Yes, please sign up. We have a form linked in the comments. You'll need to sign up there with your username, with your Replit username. And then I'll be going through today after this workshop, as well as tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah. So end of day tomorrow to ensure that all of you have Replit Core in time for the hackathon. I will be a bit offline this weekend, so please make sure that you've filled out this form by tomorrow. Might as well just do it right now, even.
For sure. Yeah, we're gonna send them an email blast via Luma, so they make sure to sign up. What is the time cutoff that you'll check the form?
So I'm on Eastern time. So I would say 6 p.m. Eastern. Submit it.
Okay.
It's literally 2 questions.
Sounds good. That's about the same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, that the team submission is due, that we need to know who's on whose team. So yeah, it's perfect timing.
All right. Yeah. Do it all at once. And then collaborate with your teams on Replit. All right. Raj says, oh, I'm sorry, Priya. You got it.
Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Do all my teammates need to have Replit Core? They don't. Again, the benefits of Replit Core, you've got private REPLs, you've got those deployment credits, you've got an upgraded AI experience. So I think they should try it. I mean, if you have the free trial that you can get, why not? Why not use it to your benefit this weekend? But there's a lot that you can do with just the starter level. You might just hit some limits, and then you'll have private or only public REPLs as well.
Gotcha. So if one person has a Replit Core, but the other team members don't, the repo will still be public, or could it be private?
Wait, sorry. I just want to pull up is it going to be in pricing? Hassam, can you pull up like the Replit Core page so they can view like the kind of trade-offs? And then could you please repeat that question again?
Yes. So if one person on the team has Replit Core and the other team members don't, will the REPL be public, or could it be private?
If the account with Replit Core is the owner of that REPL, then it can be private.
Okay, Perfect. That's great. And Hassam, whenever you send the link, we could also put it there. So you mentioned the idea, SMS to Obsidian, Intercom. If there is anything else you want to share in terms of ideas, Replit, before we let you go, this has been super exciting. Thank you so much for coming. Any last words before we wrap up?
That's it. I really, really can't wait to see what you build. Please do let me know, show it to me. And I want to hear the good with the bad. So also, if you have any feedback that we can use to improve your experience of Replit, please let us know. We want to be the place where people are building software. And if you are kind enough to share even the bad things with us, that will help us make it even better for other users.
Perfect. Yeah. To tell all the bad things you can about Replit. I think that'll help you more than the good things.
I'm sensitive, so say it with a constructive attitude. But yeah, good luck to all the hackers, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me today. And Priya, thank you so much for the incredible co-hosting. This was fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. I do have to say you are the second best co-host we've had so far.
Second?
We do love to. Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. So we're gathering like the elite public speakers and folks who can keep an audience engaged, and we do want to turn this into a series like Replit times OpenAI, Replit times X. So you can do like live app building on the spot. So I do love to extend the invitation to have you as part of that series for 1 or 2 episodes.
All right. Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for joining, and Hassam on the backstage for all the help. This was the Turn Your Ideas into Software workshop. I forgot the title, but I hope it was useful. We're going to put a recording on the website and send it to all the participants. Thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful day, Lena.
Thanks so much. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.